increased air threat in your area.
Yeah, we just come inside a little bit. So there you can actually hear the missile whistling through the sky. And then the impact. And there's been dozens of these explosions over the last hour or so. This is the reality of life for people in this city, in this country. 4.5 years of this now. And this just exhausts people, night after night, explosion after explosion.
This part of Kyiv was completely smashed a few weeks ago. Russia continues to hit Ukraine every day, but the daily routine goes on. I'm Nick Beake, and I was here in the capital 4.5 years ago when the Russians launched their full-scale invasion. The sirens have just started here in the capital, Kyiv. The invasion, the attack that Russia promised would never happen, has now started. Well, I'm back here again with a bit more facial hair this time, and I want to show you what it's like to report from Ukraine, how drone technology is apparently turning the tide for the Ukrainians, and also I want to try and track down and meet up with people I met right at the start of the full-scale invasion to see what their lives have been like the past 4.5 years and find out how they're getting on now. Ukrainian-built drones are hitting Russia hard, especially in Crimea and in other areas illegally occupied by Moscow. Strikes on oil facilities are causing big shortages of fuel supplies. We've just been given permission to come to a Ukrainian drone factory. This is a top secret location. We're not allowed to say what town or city we may be in because this is a really sensitive site and it would be a top target for the Russians.
My name is Marco and I'm Complementary Director of General Cherry and official speaker of the company. This is our absolutely flagship. It's very cheap. It costs near $800 to $1,000.
It's an interceptor which can take out much bigger Russian attack drones.
We can payload up to 1 kilo of C4 and you can destroy every target in the air.
Are the Russians catching up every week, all the time?
Yeah, it's like a big competition between us and Russian factories, because if we will have something new, we will have maybe 1 or 2 weeks this window of opportunity to use it, because they will find the solution against our technologies and we will find the solution against Russian technologies. So it's like a crazy technological race every week. This room is the most important part of our factory. So now we have more than 300 3D printers only on this facility.
3D printers?
3D printers, yeah. So these printers build like small details from zero to the full drone.
Ukraine claims its drones have hit 800,000 Russian targets so far this year. And now Kyiv is exporting its technology and expertise around the world.
You can take the battery here, you can take the C4 here, and you can launch it near 1 minute. So it's like 1 minute and it's ready to fly. Wow. So it's before we need like 5 minutes to deploy the drone. So it's a process that never stops, because we should improve our products every week.
But now you can fire this in 60 seconds. You can assemble it and it's gone.
Yeah, it's less than 60 seconds.
And how many of these are you making? Thousands every week? Or?
10 of thousands every month, 10 of thousands, a lot.
Security in this room is really tight and there are very strict instructions on what we can and can't film. From here we can't show it to you, but I can describe what I can see. It's a production line, dozens of people sitting at desks, and they're assembling drones from scratch. It feels that this is the beating heart of Ukraine's war effort. What they're doing here is really, really significant to their chances of success. Back in 2022, just before Russia's attack, we met a group of history students. They were hoping for the best, preparing for the worst.
We will fight for our nation, our city, our country.
We caught up with 3 of them in the exact place where we'd first talked.
My name is Alena Daniluk. I am now 24 years old, and when we first met, I was just 19.
Do you feel now that the momentum is changing a bit, and especially with these drones, that Ukraine is in a much stronger position?
It's a little bit easier now to think about our future when we strike Russian oil fuels, because it's fuels for airplanes that they use to strike our buildings, everything.
How has that been, your early 20s, living through this war? Do you feel that you've been forced to grow up so much quicker than people would in other countries?
Yeah, we have to become adults very fast, so we don't have such student life like others, like our, for example, older friends have, and we have to be like responsible not only for our lives but for our people who are around us, for our country. We hope it will be better days. Russian will not destroy our hopes, our future, because we are fighting for this.
It's 1 in the morning and there's an alert for where we are now. There are some sort of explosions in the distance, so... Yeah, I think there might have been. Our advice is to go to the shelter. We're heading down to the shelter now.
Attention. Increased air threat in your area. Proceed to the nearest shelter.
Okay, that is very loud. Okay, we're just heading further down into our shelter because those explosions are loud. This is the ballistic. So that was the ballistic missile. This is an attack that almost unfolds in slow motion because you get an alert on your phone first of all. But then you see on social media that the missiles are coming in specific directions, so sometimes you can actually look up in the night sky and see them. And that's what Joey did a moment ago when a missile went right overhead and then exploded in the north of the city. There's going to be another explosion now, another bang, because you see the light first of all. That's a really loud one.
So this is the map where we think the drones are coming from. There's a lot coming from the south, from Crimea, and a few coming from the northeast. We're expecting about more than 15 drones, half of them from the south and the rest from the east.
Every now and then you might be able to see the sky light up as the air defence kicks in. Okay, so it looks like that was the 18th ballistic missile to hit Kyiv today.
This is from the city mayor saying there was a fire in a multi-apartment residential building.
HK saying the roof of the Dormition Cathedral at the Valapur.
Probably 1,000 years, almost 1,000 years old building.
It's nearly 4 in the morning now and there's a new wave of drones. You can hear them buzzing in the sky. There's another one. One exploded very near us, and that is the sound of machine gun fire. The Ukrainians trying to intercept the drones, but you can see them overhead there. The red traces going up into the sky. That's the air defence trying to take them down. But you can hear it's almost like a lawnmower, the sound of the drone. President Putin had promised that there would be more of this hitting Ukrainian towns and cities because Ukraine has been hitting Russia and also Russian-occupied Crimea has been hitting a lot of fuel depots, storage facilities, and Putin said there'd be a response. And yeah, we just come inside a little bit. We've had a couple of hours sleep and we're now doing some TV and radio lives to explain what happened last night. If you look over there, you might be able to make out the black smoke that's rising in the sky. That's the aftermath of all that we saw and heard and felt last night. So we're going to do these lives, then we're going to head out to some of the scenes that have been worst hit and find out who exactly has been affected by this. We know 4 people were killed here in the capital, Kyiv. 5 people were killed in Kyiv, which is the second biggest city in Ukraine. So a really big night of Russian strikes. They think more than 70 missiles and more than 600 drones. So I'm just about to tell the audience, all our audiences in the UK and around the world, about what's been happening. Well, this is one of the challenges of doing our job that a lot of people can relate to: traffic. We're trying to get to this place that was hit last night, the cathedral. President Zelensky has just visited, so it might be that there's quite a lot of security in this area, and that's making it difficult to get there. When we arrive, we're going to film, going to talk to people and try and work out what happened last night. Beautiful building, isn't it? This complex dates back to the 11th century, so 1,000 years old. A lot of this cathedral was actually destroyed in the Second World War and they had to rebuild it. But this holds massive cultural, historical weight for Ukrainians, and that's why a lot of people today are feeling really upset and angry because of what's happened.
This was an attack on our history, undoubtedly. You understand well that what we have, they don't have it in Russia. And Russia is doing everything so that we don't have it either.
Back in February 2022, it seemed that the Russians were about to take the capital, Kyiv. We headed out to see what was happening. It was a frightening, uncertain time. This was part of our report.
Of all the places to get a flat tire, Alina's family now caught between Ukrainian artillery and the Russian front line.
What do you think of what Vladimir Putin is doing to the Ukrainian people?
Що ви думаєте, що Путін робить
This is him, Elena's mother tells me.
So this is the website where I normally post some information about the car.
I've always wondered what happened to that family. So now, in 2026, I want to try to track them down. We didn't have time to get a phone number or even a surname.
So let's try these car plates.
Ah, this is it. Opel Vectra. That's the same one in the footage.
Maybe there will be the owner's name, maybe not, we never know. But someone was selling this car in Capuchinci village. This is as much as we can learn. And we need to try and maybe call the head of the village. No one is replying.
No.
And then we can also write him an email.
So he's the local mayor, and yeah, well, I guess we just send him an email, see what he says. Cool.
Right.
Hopefully you'll know the family.
We'll see.
We will see. Here's someone else I met in 2022, just the day before the massive Russian invasion. Victoria Dvoretska had been the first woman to be a frontline Ukrainian army commander. She told us she would never surrender.
If this is going to be a large-scale war with an attack on Kyiv, my family will move far away and I will stay here to do whatever the army needs me to do.
Добрий день. Як ти? Добрий день. How are you?
I'm fine.
Very nice to see you again.
Yeah.
So when I met you, 2022, you had a little boy then. He was a toddler.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
7.
7. Wow. And what's his first name?
Ivan.
Ivan. Okay.
Yeah.
And how is he? Because I mean, it must have been like for everyone very difficult time with the country at war the last 4.5 years.
At first, there was this choice to take my child and leave.
or to go back to my people on the front line. It was very difficult for me. It was an agreement with my conscience because it was pulling me from both sides.
Before the full-scale invasion, you'd already been a veteran on the front line. Since then, you've looked after new recruits who don't necessarily want to fight, but they have to because the country's at war, and you're raising your son on your own. Every day, nearly, there are the threats of missiles and drones. What sort of emotional effect has that had on you psychologically over the past 4 years or so?
Unfortunately, we adapt to terrible things. When you spend the whole night holding your child in your arms while the walls are shaking and missiles are flying overhead, the next morning you take him to the kindergarten and then go to work. But there is no alternative. This is simply our life now.
Has there been a point which has been the hardest for you, a really difficult moment in these years?
There were a lot of them. But I think in 2022 and part of 2023, I lost almost all my friends in the war. It's that moment when you are at such a constant pace that you can't even leave it normally. But some losses just knock you out and you're on some autopilot.
We don't know how many people have been killed in this war. Some analysts estimate 140,000 Ukrainian soldiers have died. British intelligence says up to 500,000 Russian soldiers have died. Within hours of the full-scale invasion beginning, I met 27-year-old army reservist Mark. He said he was willing to serve on the front line and die for his country.
It's only one way to defend our country from Russian occupation, and we will fight all day.
Well, 4.5 years on, we have made contact with Mark again, and it turns out he's living and working in Kyiv. So we've arranged to catch up. We want to find out what life's been like for him. Thank you. 2 doors.
Come in.
Thank you very much. Who's this?
2 cats, 2 dogs.
2 cats, 2 dogs. This is the Italian coffee maker.
Of course.
Yeah?
Only mocha. Only mocha. I'm drinking coffee all day, 5 glasses a day.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. This is yeah.
Big problem with sleeping. Maybe in a lot of people have this problem.
Yeah.
Because night often very noise.
After you.
Mark tells us he's been volunteering, working in business and in drone production, but he hasn't yet signed up for the front line. It's a decision, we soon see, that weighs heavily on him.
I'm most afraid that if I stay alive, I'll have to live with the thoughts all the time. Why I didn't take the most important step, the most risky one.
One of the things we were talking about as a team was that, is there a risk that the authorities come and take you and send you to the front line because you're doing an interview with us now as we show your life in Kyiv? Should we be worried about that? Is it something you're concerned about talking to us today?
I don't worry about it. It's a subject that is not discussed in the society. I'm responsible for my own actions.
You feel your destiny is that you will, one day, end up serving on the front line?
Yes, I think one day I must, and one day I will there. When? Sorry, now I don't have an answer. It's yes, it's difficult feelings. I think really maybe every man in Ukraine is thinking about it when he's scrolling reels, when he watching TV, and
are you able to have a dream for the future?
Not dreams, only goals. Ukrainian victory, Ukrainian people, Ukrainian families, Ukrainian future Ukrainians, lives of Ukrainians.
I just thought that was super interesting listening to Mark and all the things that he's sort of struggling with in his mind. Should he go to the front line to fight for his country? So often with war, it's very black and white, isn't it? You hear, we won't surrender, we won't give up, we must go and fight. But, you know, this is a personal decision that so many young Ukrainians are having to make. And, you know, listening to Mark there, he is literally weighing up. Does he go to the front line and serve, knowing there is a very good chance that he might not come back, that he might be killed? These are the destroyed Russian tanks on display here in the capital. Well, our time in Ukraine has now come to an end. Our team's leaving and another one is coming in to replace us. Since we've been here, we've seen how drones are really giving momentum to the Ukrainians, but we've also experienced the massive Russian drone and missile attacks. We were never able to track down that family we met in the first hours of the invasion who were stuck on the motorway, but we did manage to catch up with other people and find out what their lives have been like over the past 4.5 years. There is something I need to tell you. Last night we got some news that one of our colleagues who's worked with us over the past few years was killed, and it is something that hits very hard, but also it is a reminder of the loss that people suffer in this conflict every single day.